Teddy Swims is a master. He's a natural. He's inspirational. His voice, his songs, earworms. I haven't seen this live performance of Lose Control, so I'm really excited to dive in. And it's a wonderful excuse to talk about all the little aspects and nuances of what makes Teddy's voice so amazing.
Something's got a hold on me lately. No, I don't know myself anymore. Feels like the walls are all closing in, and the devil's knocking at my door. Whoa. Out of my mind. How many
Okay, let's talk a little bit about his tone, his beautiful rasp, his country blues sort of placement. Nature. What a vocalist naturally falls into. They realize they're naturally good at something, and so they lean into that with their voice. Versus intentional posture. This is, they do something with their tone on purpose. They do something with their vocal approach on purpose to create different textures and different sounds with their voice. And all great voices are a combination of both. Some are weighted more towards the nature, and some are weighted more towards intentional postures. So we can do both with our voices too. Let's first talk about his rasp.
Something's got a hold on me lately. No, I don't know myself anymore.
Now we're going to back off our intensity as we let just a little bit more air pressure through. Something. And you hear as I'm dialing it in, I'm getting a bit of cracking. It's like I'm on the edge of my voice. Something's got a hold of me lately. And there's all sorts of little incidental things that are happening there. There's not quite a grit. It's more of a rasp. It's more of a sigh.
Feels like the walls are all closing in, and the devil's knocking at my door.
That's not to take away from how just naturally amazing his voice sounds. I'm just trying to help us appreciate it even more by examining what's possible with our own voices.
Whoa, out of my mind. How many times did I tell you?
Out of my mind.
No good at being.
He can clean it up too.
It's taking a toll on me. Trying my best to keep from tearing the skin off my bones. Don't you know?
Then I sound a little growl. That's a lower placement than the
When you're lying next to me, I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control when you're lying next to me. Yeah, you're breaking my heart, baby. You make a mess of me. I lose.
right there on lose. It's not just I lose. It's not just a note. There's this arc that happens. See, I started in chest voice. And then I backed off the breath pressure as I sort of closed the vowel. I lose. Come. Try that on a speech level. Lean into a word and then exit it in head voice and see what happens.
When you're lying next to me, I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see?
Now his runs are so dialed in. Sometimes it's helpful to go to an instrument and actually figure out the notes to the run, and then, without trying to learn it too specifically with the instrument, start throwing it into your voice in terms of muscle memory over a particular tempo. But this one is pulled straight out of the major scale, so he's adding a pentatonic flair and accent to the major pentatonic scale. Control! And he drags that or rushes it depending on the vibe he's going for in the moment. Both in the studio and in this live one, he's rushing it a little bit more at the end there. Control! There's that wonderful, like, bluesy, slidey thing that he does at the end, too.
Don't you know I lose control?
Yeah, it's faster.
When you're lying next
In the studio one, he drags it a bit more at the very end of the run.
to me, I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see?
If you'd like more help working on the freedom mindsets and foundational techniques necessary to use your voice like this, click the link below and join my free singing course. I'll help you act on the inspirations you get from other vocalists like Teddy and pull things out of your voice you never knew were there.
I lose control.
You hear how much he pulls chest up there? This is not control. It's not very light up there. You can see it in his body language and how he opens his mouth, really pulling his chest to the point of where there's almost this artificial ceiling or breaking point. Control! You really have to work that into your muscle memory if you want to get that in a way that's not too strenuous. He's mastering it. As I've been practicing this song, I've had to thin out a little bit up there just to get through certain parts, but I love how he's able to keep it so meaty and connected to his chest voice.
Yeah, you're breaking my heart, baby. You make a mess of me. But I'm at it.
So with all those endings, me, he's rolling around that minor pentatonic framework, putting some other notes in there, but he's using that as a way to jump around. It's really beneficial if you're wanting to get into agility like Teddy Swims to practice these little ornamentations. Like that.
Gotta miss you, want your body like a fiend, like a bad habit. Bad habits hard to break when I'm with you. Yeah, I know I can do it on my own, but I want that real full moon, black magic, and it takes two.
I just love the lyrics, almost rap-like things that are going on in this second verse. The way he plays with the rhythms. You just don't hear a fusion of these kinds of styles, country, blues, little tinges of rap here and there. You just don't. This is so fresh and yet such a throwback.
Automatic, miss when I'm with you, I'm an addict. And I need some relief. My skin and your teeth can't see the forest through the trees. Got me down on my knees, darling, please.
Hear how clean that one was?
Skin and your teeth can't see the forest through the trees. Got me down on my knees, darling, please. I lose control. When you're not next to me.
So that clean note up there shows that he has command over this rasp. This is not vocal damage or something that he doesn't understand how to use. He can be really intentional with it. Clean it up, back it off, really put it in, depending on how much chest he's pulling, but also depending on how much he's relaxing into sort of the back fringe of his voice, like I talked about earlier.
I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control.
And there's that wonderful descent into head voice over those single notes as he's climbing up, right?
When you're not next to me, yeah, you're breaking my heart, baby. You make a mess of me.
that little head voice run he did in interaction with the guitar solo?
I lose control.
Ooh, I like that modification.
When you're not next to me, I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see?
That was cool too. Notice how in his runs, particularly when he's quiet, he lets his mouth guide him through the transitions between notes. Oh, that's huge. You see a lot of great singers doing this sort of thing. It's easy to go, oh no, you shouldn't let that's tension. It's not tension. It's the fact that he can move that around and it's so connected to what he's doing vocally shows that it's freedom, not tension.
Next to me, I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see?
It's thrown so far back and so far nasal. And I lose. Lots of dynamic placement going on. He's not afraid to throw it way back here and then bring it forward for something that's less nasal. He's not afraid of nasality at all, though. How many times have you heard a singer complain about themselves sounding too nasal or that person's? This guy is so nasally engaged, and we love him for it. So beautiful. Just noticing his wonderful earring there. Intro. Notice how he sort of sings out of the side of his mouth sometimes? That's a tonal modification thing too. There's so many things going on that are unconventional and whimsical. I've used that word multiple times. He is shaping his sound without a care in the world for how he looks or how he's being perceived. He's fully immersed in the sonic possibilities with his voice and how he can modify them on a whim. That's one thing that I notice in amplified measures in Teddy's voice that you don't see as often in at least modern vocalists, I don't think. There's a lot going on here that's throwback. I love that this isn't drenched in tuning, that it's a raw live performance and it just slams. It is so cool. Love all the subtle improvisational tweaks to the melodies and the runs in this version. Having listened to the studio version to death, I can say that this one is right up there. I mean, I I really like them both. I might actually like parts of this one better just because of how raw it seems. If you would like help pulling things out of your voice based on the inspirations that you have from other singers, click the link below and join my free voice course. You can find that link in the pinned comment or video description.